direction from you on the ethics subcommittee formation, but I guess just round robin, because you guys have had your little history too, Speaker. So what's your reaction to just this this Facebook post? Wow. Good morning.
Good morning. Manana Sizuas to you, Chris and Sabrina, and I guess happy Father's Day still to you and all the dads out there. And I just want to share, just based on that, I continue to accept and willingly work with those constituents who are referred from the Congressman's office to my office to facilitate the issues and concerns of our signers and all those other constituents who have concerns that need to be dealt with here on Guam. And I just want to say that my office is always open to them, and especially as it relates to the war claims issue and the issues regarding the stimulus and the pool and all the other programs that we are getting from the federal government. I also want to say that though it hasn't been very enlightening to get a lot of information out from his office, that I want to extend my thank you to Congressman Kalili and his staff for helping out and bridging a lot of the answers that we need as we continue to work closely with the White House and with congressional delegates, because we still have some issues, may not be important to a lot of people, but those issues as it relates to war claims and even the cockfighting efforts. Just this morning, we needed some information, and it was Congressional Kalili's office that was returned our call and gave us the information we needed. So I just want to say thank you to that, but also know that in every process, I always believe that any individuals who's been alleged to have wrongdoings, they're innocent till they're proven guilty. But I just want you to know that any constituent who's referred from his office are more than welcome to have us see what we can do to help them, because our office is open.
Speaker, so I'm just, because you kind of said it a couple times, you're talking about people who are referred from his office. Is this office, do they just refer people to you guys, or because I hear that people try and get a hold of the office and they can't, so then they go call Kalili or they go call you guys?
Now we've had lots of constituents who got referred to our office and said they were either called Congressman Nicholas's office or went to their office and they were referred to us, especially as it relates to our assignments and the war claims. We have had a bunch. And I continue to work with them on doing their follow-ups, checking to see if there was ever a claim that has been filed, following through to see whatever updates is. Just over the weekend, we had a couple, and we will do follow-up letters this week with the constituents' consents.
Speaker, why would Congressman Michael St. Nicholas's office refer people to your office on issues related to war claims?
Yeah, these are federal issues.
I think because he shared with the statement more recently that instead of trying to see what we can do about our those constituents or those war survivors that did not get a claim because they failed to file, that they should, and I was the author of the bill for the war claims, that they should come and see me. So,
I see.
You know, in that effort, Bree and Chris, my office is always open and my staff is always hospitable to take the constituents in. Again, my number is 477-2520. And, you know, I had no reservations saying what my cell number was. So 688-3686. So, again, to all our signers out there, please, if you have any issues and concerns as it relates to war claims, you can still call my office. I know the governor's office and all the work that they've done, the hard work that they've done, they have closed shop because of the bill finally becoming law. But I think as far as the transition and as far as the questioning, we have no problems continuing to ask the commission to get any updates for our signers.
Can we talk, Speaker, about the airmen who bailed on their quarantine? So here's an instance where, and I'm sure you followed the news closely.
Yes, and Chris, I want to say that it was you, I think, that broke the story on how
It was.
members of the Air Force that broke the quarantine protocols, and they had visited our local businesses, and we know that they have all tested positive. And though in my heart I've always said that the Air Force was the best, my son is still in the Air Guard, my husband is a retired airman, but believe me, this is not acceptable. You folks know that the JIC's release on 165 states clearly that even DOD officials, they have to go to work, return to their hotel, nothing else for 14 days
Right.
as they self-quarantine. I want to share with the both of you, my grandson recently returned, and this was before they were allowed, they allowed anybody to go home and quarantine at home. And as much as I wanted him to be at home, I understood what they needed to do, and as far as the government needed to do their part and to make sure that we keep our nanas and tatas safe, and he had to stay there. And for these individuals to act the way they did, I truly believe that that's just simply unacceptable and selfish, and the unaccepted nature and the danger that they put through our community. I don't know if people don't realize the magnitude of how many residents, countless residents that will be infected, and a lot of them may not even know, because if these folks had the opportunity to go out and not listen to the protocols, I'm telling you, they may have infected so many others without our people knowing. And you know, today I need you to know that I am writing a letter to the Attorney General's office requesting that they enforce 10 GCA Chapter 19, which will fine these people, or even give them jail time, and know that this is a misdemeanor if they violate the orders. And you know what? As I appreciate the work that public health and human services does to help do this contact tracing, I literally want to say that if not for them, that we will continue to have more people affected here on Guam, and that is so uncalled for.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I you know what, we'll take the steps to follow through. And I just need you to know that I even had my staff work this weekend and call Joint Region to share my concern, to share my frustration, because as we had the shelter in place, as we had to make sure that our community was safe and put all those protocols and work with what the governor and the administration had to do to make sure that our people are protected, we have folks that just nonchalantly went out and literally did not adhere to the quarantines that should have been put in place.
Do you have any idea how many service members we're talking about that were deployed, or where they were deployed from? Because I know we've tried to get that information.
I have a meeting this week with Joint Region. I'm calling, I'm asking the questions. I started off, I shared with my staff, make sure that meeting is in, because this is not acceptable.
Right. Well, this is a meeting that should have happened yesterday.
To the brave men and women in the Air Force, my son, my husband, you know, our Air Force, but this is not right. If the Navy continued to share with the community every day, the step by step, I don't know if you remember that there was a picture not too long ago when this whole thing started about some military personnel or DOD personnel that were at the beach.
Right.
And that picture came out. We called JIG, we called the Joint Region, and Captain Sholey and Admiral Minoni were on it, and they said sanctions will be given to those who violate it. And if the governor is going to give out an order, then we, as a military community, need to follow the law. And I'm just sharing with you my frustration.
Did you tell them like
Yeah.
that, Speaker? Because it kind of seems like in our government, it's like we only want to be friends with the military and show off our relationship with them
Well,
when it's not uncomfortable. So I just want to know:
No,
are
no,
you
no.
asking? You're
I know
asking the
that
tough
Joint
questions. Then.
Region- I know that Joint Region shares my same sentiments, and that's why we are going to do this follow up. And I want to share with the both of you that this is not acceptable.
Right.
And
I mean, Joint
said,
Region
thank God for
Speaker.
public-
I'm sure you saw over the weekend they banned
Yeah.
Marines, Navy, Coast Guard from dining in restaurants, from going out to bars.
Until June 25th.
Right.
Yes, and again, for those who violated that, they should have their just punishment coming to them, because it is disrespectful for them to know that they may have been affected and know that they may have been compromised, but to compromise our own community, this is unacceptable. And yes, my frustration is there, and yes, the calls are made. And as oversight chair of the Guam buildup, this is important that we take care of this right away. And I just, like I said, want to thank Department of Public Health and Social Services for the work that they're doing. And I know that the strong contact tracing that we've been able to work with here on Guam, that it has helped a lot. And thank God for that, because if not, we wouldn't have found all these other ones. And I really think that the Andersons should step up to the plate, and they should be literally quarantining all that until this matter is resolved. And I know that you think that might be hard, but if we had to close down and shut down based on even the possibility of one being affected in a certain area, then they should follow those same rules and regulations.
Mm-hmm. Have you, by any chance, reached out to the Reef Hotel? I mean, they've got to be concerned
I
over
did not
there.
do that
Yeah.
this morning, but we will continue to work closely and make those necessary calls to see what is to get the assessment of what is going on. But more importantly, as oversight chair of the Guam buildup, I have already made the necessary calls to Joint Region to set the meeting up, and then to communicate with Anderson to say that this is unacceptable.
Yeah. And the other part of this is the fact that, the target deadline to reopen Guam was July 1st.
Oh, Lana, that's next week.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden this happens. And what do you think the impact is going to be?
You know what, Bree and Chris? In this effort, they have jeopardized our economy, our community, our residents, our businesses. And let me tell you, like I said, when this happened in the beginning, and Admiral Manoni and Captain Shirley and that team literally worked with our governor, our administration, and to make sure that the information was given to us to tell us what exactly they're doing and what steps were being taken. It is a shame that Anderson hasn't stepped up to the plate. And I just want you to know that I really think that a full quarantine measure should be put in place at Anderson or wherever that population is, that affected population, and everybody around that area should be quarantined.
Speaker, do you think that these?
We have to step up to the plate.
Do you think that these positives are going to affect our ability to move forward with our reopenings of our island? Or do you think that we should hold steady? Do you think we should keep moving full steam ahead? Or do we kind of need to stop and reassess what we're looking at?
I think that as a community, based on the numbers are in and the tracking that's done, I know that CDC, Public Health, the administration, I know I usually have a meeting with the governor to update, and that meeting is today at 12:30, and I will definitely ask to see what the update is coming in from the military, coming in from Anderson, and we literally need to do this reassessment. Here we are tracking with very few numbers coming in positive and literally trying to flatten this curve, and then this happens to us. Of course, we would need to reassess.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is hard because our community literally took the time to try and help with flattening this curve. and then this happened. So of course you can hear the frustration here. And our work still needs to move on, and I'm just saying that I want to reiterate the efforts of what Joint Region is going to do to move forward in that meeting with them, and I will definitely let you guys know.
Please keep us posted, Speaker, because
And I also need to finish penning that letter to the Attorney General, Stephen Camacho, and ask him to look at what punishments can be given and handed down to those who violate and not listen to what's happening.
Well, thank you, Speaker, and keep us posted on your meeting with the Gov. We're up against the clock here. We got to run, but I know there's a lot of stuff, and we could catch up maybe later this week or next week.
I definitely will, because I'd like to talk to you about a plan I have in reference to updating technology and what it can do for our government of Guam.
And we definitely want to have that conversation, Speaker, but just not right now. We're pretty backed up.
Thank you. No worries.
All right, take care.
Thank you, Speaker. Wash your hands and keep us posted, okay?
God bless. Sign them
Okay.
up.
Okay. So. Well, there you go, Speaker Barnes.
Unacceptable. That's the one thing I got. That is completely unacceptable. Again, if you just heard, 22 over the weekend, military service member popping positive for COVID-19. They are part of a unit that's deployed to Anderson Air Force Base. All we know is that they arrived to Guam on May 25th. One of those service members started showing symptoms of COVID on June 11th. Then Naval Hospital conducted a test on June 12th, and he was positive. And Department of Public Health, they confirmed with us that these service members did not follow their orders for restricted movement, which means they were only supposed to go from the Reef Hotel to work on the airbase, and apparently they didn't.
There was gallivanting.
And so Public Health is conducting their contact tracing investigations outside the base, and the military is conducting theirs on the base.
All right, we had a comment here, Bree, from Debbie. Always blame the military. There were island people without masks during the PCOR 1 and 2. Speaker, stop blaming only the military. I think the problem with that is that we're doing our part here. We're doing the community testing. Community testing results are low in the general non-military public. It's the military that has brought the most COVID-19. It is what it is. With TR and this, they brought the most COVID-19. I'm not making a judgment. I'm just stating facts. And so it's the military that needs to really get a hold of themselves, because it's the military that exposed us to this virus in this most recent instance. And you heard the speaker. I mean, she's right. They're jeopardizing so much that we have worked so hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed home. We washed our hands. We followed the orders.
We quarantined.
We're wearing masks right now. So we're doing our part, and I just tired of this double standard. You know, and I'm tired of this, like, public health apologizing for the military, but it is what it is. Public health can't make the military do anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we get these, when we call public health, they're like, oh yeah, they're trying to do their part, and we're cooperating. I just want to see more, more teeth in it. And that's why I was I'm glad, Speaker. People should be pissed about this.
Yeah, I'm pissed.
Yeah, I am. I mean,
But I'm being reserved. After last week, it's like, breathe.
Yeah, you don't want to cost any more directors their jobs, Bree.
Oh, no.
No, yeah, this is really.
But 22. I mean, even when we started seeing the numbers, it's like there's more to this. Something is going on. And then, sure enough, we have this deployed unit. They're staying at the Reef Hotel. And June
but
11th,
we can't tell you because they're top secret. They're Air Force ninjas.
Operational security. What about the security of the people of Guam?
Amen, Sabrina. Amen, Sabrina. What about the security of the people of Guam? It's 9:30, containing COVID. We'll take a short break. We'll come back with more of this multimedia broadcast extravaganza. Good morning on you.
Keeping you informed, KUAM News brings you Banking 671, brought to you by the Bank of Guam, the People's Bank, and Coast 360 Federal Credit Union. Together, we thrive.
KUAM News COVID-19 Takeover on I-94 FM is presented locally by Ambrose Inc.
GU Self Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon